Okay, now today we're on floor plan part 7, which we will be working on our dimensions. And you'll need your, of course you'll need a pencil today, you'll need your scale, and you'll need a triangle of some sort to make your dimension lines with. So floor plan part 7 dimensions, and we'll try to get all this in one shot, in one group here. So we're going to just start at the top and work our way down. You can use your handout. The answers are already given to you, so it should be fairly easy for you. You'll see that we have these dimensions up top here, and we're just gonna, if you'll space them out, and we're going to start using your quarter scale. And this doesn't have to be exact, I just want to try to get these lines proportioned the same. So if you're about 2 foot off of the wall for your first string of dimensions, and then about 1.5 feet between the inner line to the outer line, and then another 1.5 feet to the overhaul line, just to keep the proportions the same as you go all the way around the building. So basically you just get your T-square and you line it up, and you go ahead and draw those lines in from the edge, outside edge, to the outside edge, and go ahead and feel free to draw these lines in to the measurements that we have already prepared for you. Just remember, you got some that go to center lines of windows and center lines of doors, and you definitely want to pick those up and understand where you're dimensioning from. So if you'll just pick those up, and then you once you get all these lines drawn in, for example, we'll start right here from the outside of the wall to the center line of that window is 10 foot 9.5 that you see, and then you'll see this dimension here that is 13.3.5 from the outside of your house to the inside of your bedroom window. I'm sorry, the bedroom wall that butts up with your master bath. So make sure you understand where you're dimensioning to, and this 7 foot 2.5 from the center line of your window over to the living room side of the wall of your master bath, and then you'll come on over in this direction, and you'll see center line of door to center line of window to outside edge of the building. So you want to go ahead and do that and get those dimension lines in place, and then you're going to strike yourself some guidelines with your pencil that you can go ahead and do just like you've been doing your lettering assignment. You'll go ahead and strike lightly your guidelines for all of your dimensions that you have here, and you're going to make those guidelines about, with your quarter scale, let's go about 6 inches tall with your quarter scale, and then you're just going to come in here with your triangle, and you're going to stroke through your dimensions just like you have been doing on your lettering assignment. So let's just stroke through like that 14 foot 5.5, or 5 foot 14 feet 5 inches, I'm sorry, and just go around and get all those dimensions that we have already given you on your handout that you have on your 11 by 17. So basically you're mimicking the same thing on your drawing, which is at the 1/4 inch scale, and then you can just come around and you can catch the dimensions that you have all the way around the building. Go ahead and get these outside ones first. Go ahead and draw these lines in, exactly like your handout shows. And these dimensions are showing you where each one of those walls or window or door may be located. And this is how the carpenters in the field will actually construct your building. So you can go ahead and do, oops, my paper shifted a little bit, I got to straighten that up, and go ahead and do that on all four sides. Catch all these and go ahead and write in those dimensions using a triangle and T-square and your pencil. Remember to chisel your point, and you'll catch all these down here at the bottom as well. Go ahead and catch those dimensions, write those in, and once you've got all your dimensions, you want to come outside dimensions, come in and do the exact same thing where we have those interior dimensions that do not show up on the outside, and draw those in exactly like we did on that handout. So catch all those and letter all those in place, and we've got a lot of the dimensions from the outside, and these are just the ones that don't quite show up very well on the outside dimensions, so we picked them up with some miscellaneous inside dimensions. So you want to make sure you get all in, no rhyme or reason. Usually we work from the top down and then from left to right, just to keep your or right to left, depending on which way you have your triangle, so that you're not pulling your work or your hand smudging. Just kind of gauge so you're not smudging your hand over your work, and you can keep it as clean as possible. This is going to take a little experimentation with your part to do that, but we want you to make sure that when you're, I'm going to try to zoom right on in here, when you've got a dimension line and you'll see that line and you'll see a little 45-degree tick right there, you want to use that 45-degree triangle to make that. Don't try to do that by hand. So use your pencil and your 45-degree angle to show where each one of those dimension lines are coming from, and you should be able to see that very well on your handout. It's pretty easy. Let me see if I can kind of maybe do that a little bit at a larger scale for you. And remember, all our practice we've been doing on the board with dimensions, this is kind of the same thing, how you would do that, except here I've given you the answers, and of course we'll still begin to test you, but just if you've got a wall, and you've got a wall, and I'm doing this freehand, of course, and your dimension line is here, and you're going to that outside wall, and you want to keep those lines crisp and clean. And again, that's 45-degree, 45-degree, and then whatever dimension you may have. And remember, I'm doing that freehand, and you're not to that point yet. You need to use your guidelines and your T-square and your triangles. So basically, I want for this session, which is floor plan part 7, dimensions, is get all your dimensions located on this plan that you have now. By now you should be seeing your floor plan take shape, and we're going to move on to room titles and names in the next session. But get your dimensions done and make sure you look at where these dimension lines are coming from so you understand it. And we'll see you in the next part soon. Thanks.